Eyes on TE, the current champions at the top of the lobby. They've just got 6 games left to go before they get into the action. And J-Team, speaking of action, have found JL immediately. ZU gets himself countered, gets the counter onto Eagle. Eagle disarmed now, quickly switches out to the cannon. He's just trying to fight with his bare fists as J-Team are somehow getting a hand up on this. Eagle goes down to AS. The advantage comes in as JL, they're just going to use the cannon to spray damage down onto the J-Team members. And little by little, they're falling. But One Feng also chunked out heavily, maybe looking for that salty run back. 101 TN, the final one standing, and he goes down. JL, take the fight.
Yeah, it's not just the fact that they were able to find a cannon, it's also they're able to push J-Team right into the toxic rooms, and Z with that cannon is able to activate them, and the poison tick damage starts to chunk J-Team down, as opposed to JL, who have that sustainability, but we're not slowing down at all at the moment, as JJH and XTG are now going to be going toe-to-toe. Dragon Slayers into full Nezhaz, comes out from water, cleaning so much of this space up. In fact, JJH both using spears at the moment to be able to try and grab as much space as possible, and isolate these members of XTG away from Peel down, and just forced into that stone form is just going to die stuck in it, as JJH's ward was just doing such a good job with that spear of being able to push these players away, the monk especially being able to lock them down. Remember, JL are the only ones running that Temi. So they are going to have so much control, but when it comes down to these other teams, it's all going to be about that weapon stagger. What are you going to play? Is it going to be the spear? Is it going to be the pole sword? Because pole sword did take a little bit of a heavy hit in terms of damage department, as well as moving over towards Eventide. We're going to be seeing GG now trying to track down a different team. EWG are going to be caught in their crossfires as GG are looking for this invasion onto the team space. They've spotted out one grappling over the trees. EWG are looking a little bit split. If Miski is going to be able to actually lock down one of these players, Two-Tick on that right side, definitely a little bit more vulnerable for these other 2 members of EWG who are just going to have to try to pull back. But Yuran's noticed that they're being chased, takes the fight a little bit more into the open to make those bow shots a lot scarier for GG to have to deal with, as Two-Tick does have that purple armor, will have the monk ultimate as well. Yuran doing a very good job of just buying so much space for EWG to work with, and GG just don't want to cross the open area in case the monk ult comes through before they're able to actually lock a player down.
Yeah, it's looking for a couple of cheeky shots there with that bow, but not actually able to line up the shot. We are cutting over now to GD, who have found TE, actually. Are looking to maybe chase them down and take this fight. They have them in their line of sights. VVV has some purple weapons. Actually staying for LYD. Shot with a musket comes in onto Kakaishi. Loses a whole bunch of HP and that armor immediately. Kakaishi's been caught. Goes in for the transformation. As TXJ, already taking a little bit of fire, is just going to try and avoid away and look for these grabs. Kakaishi getting railed from behind by Lloyd, but LYD is going to get himself bot back for the moment. Both of the monks are going a little bit low here, just trying to avoid away on each other. TXJ is going to get the Karumi healing to keep him alive. Is now Kakaishi. He's going to have to get the Karumi ult himself to keep him up for the moment. It's just going to be a game of healing, but Dongxing has been grabbed as Kakaishi is going to be looking for the slam down onto him. Dongxing now going to be on that run as TXJ, they lose their monk's transformations. The Yue Shens come out. It's that extended, very traditional monk style of fighting as TXJ trying to get onto Kakaishi. He has no armor. He's an easy target. He's just been juggled around. Stagger locked down. The bell comes out. He's trying to desperately get away, but somehow he's holding on. TXJ now. Low HP being run down. Dongxing able to pick him up. Nice and simple. As VVV going to desperately try and get away from Dongxing and K, but there is going to be no running. TE losing an early fight. That is rough.
TE going to have to go back to this altar and use those rebirth charms as EWG is Two-Tick playing outside of that no ult zone. Is going to be able to find a grab and a slam. EWG able to find a kill off of that damage as well. Yuran coming in with a dagger to be able to finish GG's miscue off, and then immediately EWG repositioning, knowing that they don't have that monk ultimate up, to be able to zone that follow-up aggression coming through. As Ventus going to be going for a transformation of their own, not a monk, a Yui ultimate coming through. Sanzi trying to push all of these members of WBG outside of that Karumi ultimate so they don't get that burst healing, as there are 2 Karumi ults still in play. It's all about the spacing. Who is going to be able to receive the most amount of heals? Karumi ultimates now both removed. Neither of these teams really being able to disengage either. The Bane's Breath making it a lot harder for them to be able to escape any of this engagement, as Ventus's Sanzi still in that ultimate, going to be dropping out of it just now. Sleepwalker does go down, however, Ventus able to focus fire one player, and that should make the follow-up a lot easier for this team, especially now that they're going to be able to use a Monk ultimate. But Sanzi gets caught. WBG's Jing with the katana, able to lock him out. Ventus's WX98 just sitting with this Monk ultimate to push these members of WBG away as the grab does come through. Jing in, and now as he finds the double, Jing goes down, and now it's just going to be WBG's PP trying to use the tap dodges to escape the grab. He's able to dodge one, he's not able to dodge the second, and it's just going to be that singular Kurumi for a little bit longer as Ventus finally put him out of his misery and send him back to his team, as J-Team off screen have actually been able to pick up even more kills, sitting at 7 at the moment. Most notably, they have, however, lost the Reba charms, as we're going to have a replay to see exactly where they're able to build those 7 up from. J-Team's Eagle just locking down these players towards that corner. Eagle doing such a good job of making sure that OUG do not get to find that opening that they wanted when the King went for the ultimate. Eagle going for the ultimate afterwards as well. He's already found a grab, and the King, as he comes out of one ultimate, he's grabbed Eagle who turns perfectly. Oh my goodness, Eagles on an absolute roll.
That is beautiful, considering they lost that drop at the beginning as well. They literally spawn died effectively, and they've still kept the aggression up. This is what I wanted to see out of J-Team. I guess, Poopy, I can ask you a little bit about the comps here, because a lot of teams are playing the same comp. So what do you think actually makes what is kind of the deal breaker, the make or break for these teams that are playing, you know, the same comp in these fights? You know, what are you going to be looking for to get an advantage in these fights?
So pretty much as each character has their own role. I'll start with like Monk, for instance. For the Monk, they want to pretty much make sure that they're creating space for the other Monk to not do anything. Like for instance, in that last fight where the King actually went small right in front of another Monk. That window of just a free grab opportunity. It's just there, you know, like that. He pretty much secured that double grab for the enemy. For the Kurumi, she wants to make sure, you know, she's watching, depending on she's F1 or the invulnerability F, she wants to make sure that she's watching her teammates' health to make sure that she gets a well-timed F off, and ult as well to make sure no one dies. And then the Yeshan's just any damage control, anyone that goes low, anyone that gets parried, making sure that, you know, your teammates aren't in situations where they eat too much damage from either the enemy Yeshan or from the other team.
Perfect. Well, we've actually got the Roma Yang spawning up in the next few seconds. This Bane's Breath down by Bowder means that they will have control of the gate when it opens, because nobody was able to contest that. Looks like it's not going to really happen either way, though. As the Roma Yang spawns up, Bowder going to jump straight into that one. Or are they? No, they don't get in time. So it's going to be Alliance versus GD and JL versus XCG inside their Roma Yang. Bowder probably a little bit heartbroken about that. They committed a lot to try and get in that, and they're unable to do so. Now, both the Monks here are going to instantly transform. Kakashi and Lin going to be looking for each other. Just going to be, like you're saying, trying to keep each other busy so their teammates don't get grabbed. Kakashi not doing a great job of that because Kay's being grabbed. Not going to let him go for the slam, though. Just going to knock him back as Lin actually loses a lot of HP there, so GDL are able to get an advantage. Once again, Lin gets another grab off there. Is even going to get the follow-up slam onto Dongqing, who just jumps straight into that Kurumi up for a bit of HP. Is going to be a grab coming in from Kakashi. A re-grab as well onto Lucky, as Lucky starting to lose a little bit of HP here. Is able to hold for just a little bit longer. The transformations do time out, and Lucky does finally go down as Kakashi is a whole bunch of HP. Jean keeping the damage up onto Kakashi for the moment. Is trying to catch him with that uppercut, unable to really connect anything as Lin pops the bell, blocking out that damage onto Kakashi, but in comes the slam from Alliance's Jean. Lin goes down, and GD still got the man advantage here. Are just going to be able to take this fight nice and simple as they get that Roma Yang, and these Roma Yangs are going to be so vital, so important for all of these Monks teams, because they are such item-dependent comps. They want the golden weapons for the extra damage. They want as good at armor for as much health on their Monks as possible. And Kakashi, golden nunchucks already, purple armor. He's going to be able to do a lot of work with this monk.
Oh, if he gets Dragon's Rush, he is going to have such good final zone control. But he's just going to be able to run around very similar to how we see Takeda's run around full sword when we have zone 6 collapsing into zone 7. And no one's going to be able to get close to him. This is really precarious positions for the teams around him. And it's not just about the weapon scaling either, it's also the safety cushion. Remember, first zone just collapsed, so we've lost rebirth charms for all of these different teams. If you have Vermilion Bird's Might, you have that lifeline. Even if you lose a fight, even if you go down, you're still going to be able to survive and even reposition while keeping all of your loot, as opposed to being knocked out of this tournament or, well, this map entirely. So it means that some of these teams who are lagging a little bit behind in the leaderboard in terms of the kills that they've been able to pick up, they get to go aggressively as they want. Or maybe they're going to be JL and they're going to burn so much of a Vermilion Bird's Might just chopping. I mean, I get it. Soul Jade's very, very pretty. A lot of these weapons incredibly dependent as well on those extra skills that a Soul Jade can provide. Things like Phantom Step being absolutely invaluable to being able to just allow you so much more control of your movement, and those windows for that pulsar to play so much more aggressively than some people are perhaps anticipating. As Alliance and J-Team are going to be getting aggressive at the moment, Lin going to need to use this Monk transformation pretty soon. They have lost that Gate of Yang, so they are on the clock at the moment. And there it is, taking the fight down so that Lin's going to be able to have a lot more room to be able to maneuver around. But J-Team also has that ultimate up, and he's going to be looking for grabs too. Lin already below 50% health as well.
No.
Gets kicked by Eagle. This is really rough for
Oh,
him.
they're down.
And he's not able to drop out of ultimate in time. ZK with the longsword finishes the Monk up, and this is looking curtains for Alliance. Without a Monk, they just don't have the means of zoning J-Team away. The Uation ultimate comes on through from Zwan to try to damage control these members of J-Team so that they don't pick up a third. But it's going to be so tough as J-Team have been isolated. Eagle away from the pack at the moment, but he's able to grapple over the top of the Uation. And Zwan already using those jump cooldowns has no choice but to just waddle after the members of J-Team on the ground. He's going to be dropping out of the ultimate anytime soon, but this fight is as good as J-Team's. They just need to clean up. And that's going to be Alliance knocked out of the lobby early.
That is just the world champs being back. Absolutely brutal. We are seeing JL also just deal with JJH here. Takeda ultimate coming out. They're using that power as much as possible to keep them pinned down. One thing getting caught, and JJH are going to get taken out of the game by AS and the rest of JL. But going back to that J-Team fight, what the hell went wrong? They got the jump on J-Team. We are going to see a replay of JL inside their realm of Yang. This is their one versus XCG. As JL, they honestly look to just be getting a little bit slammed around here by XCG. I don't actually know who won this. I'm not going to lie. I totally missed who won this one.
It has to be JL, right? They didn't have Yang depletion, and they were also rocking the Draco Storm.
Yes, you might be right then. But they're Draco Storm? I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, if you want to play aggressive,
yeah,
they're on the way. They had both Draco Storm and Vermilion Bird's Might, so
Wait,
they put Vermilion Bird's Might from the box in Gate of Yang, and then they probably went for Mars Blessing.
I did not know you could have two. I've never seen anyone run around with two buffs. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Well, we're into shopping time. As honestly, I expected this lobby to move way slower than it has. I thought with a lot of monks, people were going to be playing for late game, but like, everybody wants to get as many kills as possible, as quick as possible, and keep their hopes alive in this tournament. I mean, there's 6 games left of the whole tournament. This is really the do or die moment for some of these teams who are in a position where they are not happy with their standing right now. Your WBGs, who are very low in the standing right now, actually are in very close proximity to J-Team, so they may actually look to try and pin on them. See if J-Team actually do give themselves away, or are just going to stay in those buildings.
Oh, people are actually challenging second Gate of Yang. Oh my goodness, 3 teams are going for 1 gate. As the off-camera XCG unfortunately going to be losing 9HQ to that Yang depletion timing on out. As here it is. This is the Gate of Yang that is apparently the talk of the town at the moment, as absolutely everybody wants control of this space. Maybe not to go through the portal, but to just prevent players from going through. As Kakaishi gets caught in the wisp, but is able to make it through. JL going to actually be going into a Gate of Yang, despite running a Temi-focused composition. So they're going to have to lock down these members of JL and hope that the Kurumi Kurumi isn't going to be able to teleport right past as AS goes aerial, going for that cannon, just putting a little bit more pressure onto these members of GD below him, not wanting to touch the ground, as there's the Takeda ultimate coming on through. The full sword is countered by GD's Don Quing. The Uation ultimate now coming through to make sure that JL are not able to group up and fully put this Takeda crowd control into motion, as AS with that longsword just provides a little bit more damage from afar. There's the Monk ultimate now coming out from Kakaishi. Doesn't have to worry about waiting for another Monk. He's going to be able to use that ultimate whenever he wants. AS trying to get behind the pillar to line of sight. The grab isn't able to get in time, and Ziyu gets grabbed at the same time. Is saved by the Zip ultimate, as there's the Temiel now coming through, separating Kakaishi from his team, but the Kurumi ultimate is still going off inside it, and Kakaishi's getting so much healing at the moment, as Ziyu is forced to go behind the pillar and look for that reset, going to be able to heal up to full. Kakaishi dropping out of that Monk ultimate, still has the Kurumi tether, so can go aggressively as he wants, is going to be targeting AS, but he gets counted. The bell coming through, so JL aren't actually able to punish that, as Kakaishi now coming in with that dagger, trying to take advantage of how fast that weapon can be. Temief coming out so that you can get a little bit further away from the fight. Kakaishi going incredibly low, and he just gets absolutely chipped down. GL's one thing with the katana, as it's a Hector coming out, allowing them to finally be able to lock the members of GD down. And despite coming in with a composition that we often talk about being just not equipped for a Gate of Yang fight, especially against a Kurumi who can just tether and teleport away from that Temi ultimate lockdown, they come out on top.
That might have been the most hype Monk versus another team in a Roma Yang I've ever seen. That was so clutch. Honestly, played super well there by JL, and this is why I put them as my dark horse for today. I think these guys have shown some serious promise in day number 1, and they are just stepping up. It's crazy though, because we're seeing still a bunch of teams, opt away from actually going for Roma Yang. Poopy, why do you feel that teams sometimes just decide the Roma Yang is not worth it? And what do you think the decision making is in going into those Roma Yangs or not going for them?
I think it's mainly it's going to be the risk over reward. If you win the Yang versus if you get into the Yang versus a team that's far more outscaled, the chances of you winning are a lot less. So it's just depending on how much you're willing to risk, So I think that's the big factor into.
Then talking of risk, if you're a team that loses that second Gate of Yang, obviously there's less rebirth charms and the area of the map is a lot smaller, so you're potentially going to be running into third parties a lot more often. How would you play at such a disadvantage? Would you just throw in all of your ultimates and hope that you're able to find a kill before the third party comes through? Or do you want to just start off using one and drip feed them in case that third party does hit and you need resources to survive? Not just the fight that you're in, but the fight afterwards.
Ideally, you're going to want to go with the second option, but a lot of teams you see when they have that Yang depletion, they're going to just dive bomb a team, triple bump them, and then if they make it out, they make it out. So.
Yeah, because GD are in that position, right? They lost that Gate of Yang fight against JL. So now they are going to have less than 3 minutes to be able to find those soul blooms and pick up those players as Kakaishi. With those legendary nunchucks, they'd won the first Gate of Yang fight that they took. Purple armor for the Monk as well, so at least he has a little bit of loot scaling in case they run into another team that have been able to win one of those Gate of Yang fights and are better equipped as well. The problem, like you said, is that because so much time is passing for GD just trying to hunt any team down, no care about being spotted, they need to be spotted at the moment, going incredibly aerial, Kakaishi just trying to look for any sign of movement, any player around them, but by the time that they actually find a team, they're just going to have to throw all of their ultimates in and hope that they're able to pick up a soul bloom in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got 10 minutes left now until the game does come to an end. Still got 33 players. So actually, with all of the action we've had, more people left in the lobby than I expected. We normally look at about 7 minutes. Are you heading into that 25 to 28 mark normally around that point in a regular paced game? So still got a bit of time to go until then, but it has been a way faster paced game than I expected. Finally, for the side of GD, they do find a whole bunch of teams, and this could get hairy for them quickly. They got a minute left until they just go down to that depletion, so they're just looking to open up onto Bowder as quick as possible. Kakaishi going to commit the ultimate immediately. Malman will answer in kind, but these comps already moving quite slow. They need to find one of those soul blooms as quick as possible. They're actually trying to find that slam onto Lion. Is going to be able to get it. The repeating crossbows coming in. Malvin's actually going very, very low here. Healing is going to do some good for him, but not a massive amount. He does go down. OUG are the ones to take that kill, but honestly for GD, all they want are the soul blooms. As long as they get that, they're going to be okay. They're able to cleanse Kakashi. He's going to try and heal himself back up. Bowder, Lion, the only one left standing, and he is now just going to be easy picking for the rest of the lobby, so he's just going to use that mobility he gets from the UAShian transform to get away while the other teams fight.
The problem is, however, that GD are able to cleanse Kakashi, but it's actually at the cost of their Kurumi. And even if they had lost one player, if they still had the Kurumi, you can tether, at least from afar, and still get that revive off as long as you're not pressured. But they're also going to lose GD's K alongside it, so now it is going to be down to just Kakashi to play for survivability. And a monk on his own, I'm sure Pubi you can attest to this, a monk without support, especially when there are so many players so close around you, is not going to last long at all.
That is unless you're Roy Hihi, of course, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a World's callback. Oh, that fight was gorgeous.
I mean, what do you look to do now? What is the game plan for the teams as we move into this final circle? Let's say you're in this game, PB. What is your game plan? What are the calls that you're making?
We're gonna look at how many kills we have at the moment. If we're, most of the kills around this stage are going to come, towards your end game. If we're sitting on like 6 kills, 5 kills, we're definitely not fighting. So I'm just gonna tell my team we're ranging. If the team jumps us, we full disengage. But otherwise, just wait until the end zone. Rotating, see any big fights going on. We're going to range pressure, try to get ourselves a good position as we lead ourselves into the end game, and just wait for the kills to come.
And something I never really wrap my head around is how do the teams kind of assess terrain and verticality and kind of where their position is in that final circle? Obviously, every game is random, so you don't really have the ability to prep that. So how do you prepare and kind of make those in-the-game calls of like where are you going to stand, where are you going to set up as a comfortable spot?
Honestly, sometimes it's an ego check. There's a team in a nice spot. We want that spot, so we ego that team. You're giving us our spot, or we're going down together. Sometimes that just has to be how it goes. And you see that actually in tournament plays, like this team just pushed this other team off their good spot. Or sometimes, we get lucky. We're able to hold our ground at a nice spot. I guess it's a BR, at the end of the day, it's those types of factors are pretty, as you said, like random. So we can do what we can.
So a bit of luck and a bit of ego. That's what you need.
We've seen the ego. We've definitely seen the ego. I will say, I think the most prevalent one was at WBG. They had a map on Holoroth where they'd really nicely hold up on a rooftop opposite another team, both of them vying for high ground control, and WBG get egoed out of that spot and actually get stuck inside the building. And stuck between the zone and all of the other players in the area. And they go down very shortly afterwards. I hate to say, Poopy, that your story comes true in the team that you favor, but WBG have not been having the greatest season. And unfortunately for that, not having really had the greatest impact in this game so far, but the monk composition does come true in full when we hit Zone 6 collapsing into Zone 7, and that is when Sleepwalker has proven to be one of the best monks in the world. But talking about best in the world, J-Team currently sitting tied alongside GD with 10 kills. JL, however, your dark horse, Jake, sitting on 13 and eclipsing that as OUG are going to knock out GD's Kakashi's last remaining member. So no survivability points. No more kill multiplier coming through for GD as J-Team's Eagle gets caught out in the open, having to heal through all of these cannon poke shots, and as a result, oh, that is not good for J-Team. They have to burn the Kurumi ultimate early, so they're not going to be able to have it to sit with when Eagle falls below 50%, the tether as well, so J-Team feels safe enough to be able to reposition out from that middle spot where they're going to come under the focus, as we know where the next zone is going to be collapsing, and J-Team decided they want to make that aggressive rotation forward to be able to play for a better position when everyone is eventually forced to move.
That was the most J-Team thing I've ever seen. They're so criminal of finding themselves in a bad spot in the final circles and then just getting blasted out the lobby. They are. I'm happy for them, but they were this time didn't get taken out. But I could run a highlight reel of J-Team standing in a bad position and just the whole team canning them down.
Well, Pippi, would you say that this is going to stop them from just using Eagle's ultimate until that Kurumi comes back into hers? Or do you actually use the Monk ultimate knowing that you're going to be such a target?
I don't know if you're noticing, but if you check the teams, usually the Monk gets the strongest armor, right? And as we're going into end zone, you can see teams with the Kurumi has the strongest armor. There's, that could play into the reason why you kind of let the Kurumi, use her ultimate possibly instead of forcing the Monk ult. Because typically when one Monk ults, every Monk ults because you want that pillar to stand behind. You don't want to not be that team with, just a Kurumi ult to stand underneath. Because that's not going to do anything versus what we're actually about to see happen right now.
Yeah, well, Eagle's actually thrown that transformation out already. He's going to be looking for the grabs. TXJ got himself on top of that building, looking to find somebody. Has actually picked up Yaran, who is now being toasted by TXJ, and down they go. Lovely little pick up there. VVV actually gets the kill secure as Eagle. Without the Kurumi ultimate, very exposed, very weak. They are going to do their best to try and keep him healed up and alive. Tev has gone on to Eagle as he's just trying to hold this ground right now. He's going to use that transformation, unfortunately for him, as Miss Kia now in the mech. Just going to be raining fire down onto Eagle. They are losing a fair amount of HP. It is getting pretty chaotic here in this final circle. Still 24 players looking to fight it out as JT trying to contest as the cannon fire coming in from Miss Kia onto them is coming down as 3-3-0 going very low on HP. 101 TN gonna force them away for the moment. The mech's gone. They're losing all of their transformations, and 101 TN's just keeping the damage on LXM, getting himself blocked back towards the zone, juggled in. Miss Kia's thrown into the zone. 3-3-0 desperately trying to get away as they go down. Eagle secures the kill. JT with the Kurumi ultimate are going to keep themselves healed up. 101 TN is going to lose his transformation. That's all of the ultimates down on the side of J-Team. They have got some of those salt wounds though from those kills, and that cannon fire should build that rage up fairly quickly. So Eagle will be looking for a transformation relatively soon. Cutting over to JL though right now. Currently the kill leaders in the lobby with 15 kills. Absolutely monstrous performance for these guys. But J-Team, they're looking to do their best to try and pick up as many kills as possible themselves. Taking out 3-3-0, putting themselves up to 12 kills. Only 3 behind the kill leaders in JL. Slam comes down. They're closing the gap. They've got themselves up to 13 kills off the back of that one. As Miss Kia trying to desperately dodge away as Eagle looking for these grabs. It's getting harder and harder with the mist and the kind of fog of war almost for Eagle to find them. They are looking to go for it. It does look like for now TE do still hold a pretty comfortable high ground for the moment. 2-tick cutting over to him looking for the grabs. Jing's going to transform, so he's not going to get himself caught out for the moment. 2 minutes left on this game and it's still anybody's.
He just took down 2 players off screen from JL's side. And that is going to be really tough for them. Fortunately for this team, they are still going to have that Takeda, and this is where the Takeda comes fully into play, being able to use that ultimate and push those players outside of that zone into the tick damage, as TE's LYD is just playing Sentinel at the moment so that they can find a revived WG Sleepwalker, playing for alive as long as he possibly can. EWG's Yuran is going to be taken down by JLZU, however, as we're going to see GG's Miski absolutely barrage onto Ventus's WX98. He's just taking so much damage. J-Team's Eagle sitting isolated away from his team in that. Temi ultimate is looking to try and find the grabs as he is able to tap dodge around one of them. Eagle's got one in hand. Miski gets slammed into the ground, but no kill comes through. As TE's TXA has also gone for the Monk ultimate alongside WBG Sleepwalker, who's now out of the building into the open. TE loses LYD. Eagle's finally able to find that pick onto Miskia as Sleepwalker finds another grab and a double, picking up the king off of the high ground, slamming him into the ground, waiting for the bell to come through, and then catching him on the reverb, but he gets taken down. OUG's SS going for the feet, taking him down with the longsword, as the king having to play that aggressive, being grabbed out, is now having to play off of the back foot, swaps onto the cannon to try and board ultimate as quickly as possible, but not in time to stop a grab from coming through. He tried to go for the transformation, but it gets cancelled out by 2-tick, who's now looking to complete another double grab as the flamer from on high. TE toasting all of the players below them, creating s'mores out of this lobby at the moment, as we're still waiting to see JL make their move with this Takeda. OUG's SS falling incredibly low, has tapped into the zone to get away from the Monk grabs, as it's going to be J-Team's Eagle picking up another kill. TE with 3 players still alive. TXA finding a scoop and grab as a result will slam down EWG Zhao Lui outside of the zone into that tick damage, as we're now going to see J-Team's Eagle holding onto the ultimate for the refresh onto himself, the only player in his team left standing. It's a late transformation, but it's TE